Lieutenant General Buratai took over the mantle of leadership of the Nigerian army, Nigeria was at the verge of being annihilated by the then rampaging terrorist group Boko Haram and other disturbing security challenges across the country. Like a man on a mission, he marshaled out tactics to tackle this hydra-headed monster of insecurity. Working together with his officers and soldiers, Lieutenant General T.Y. Buratai initiated various exercises in support of internal security operations. Today, just as the once dreaded Boko Haram has been degraded and incapacitated, the various exercises across Nigeria have been adjudged to be the game changer in tackling insecurity in Nigeria. These exercises were targeted at checkmating security threats in Southeast, South-South, Southwest, North Central, and Northwest regions of Nigeria. In this episode, we'll be taking a look at the effects of these exercises in Southeast and North Central regions.
The role of the army world over is basically to protect the territorial integrity of a sovereign state, ensuring that all external aggressors are well monitored and no way be a threat to the sovereignty of its nation. But in a situation where the enemies of a country are citizens of that same country, who for one reason or the other have decided to make the state ungovernable, should the army stand by and watch while fellow countrymen are being killed like animals? The Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria empowers the Nigerian army to render assistance to civil authorities, especially when it concerns national security. Keeping the peace and ensuring that every part of Nigeria is habitable has been one of the topmost priorities of the Nigerian army under the command and leadership of Lieutenant General Tukur Yusuf Buratai as the Chief of Army Staff. At a time when the Nigerian state is faced with security challenges ranging from Boko Haram in the northeast, banditry, herders-farmers clashes, kidnapping and militancy in the north-central, southwest and south-south zones of the country, not leaving out the cessationist activities and threats to peace in the southeastern part of Nigeria. The leadership of the Nigerian army in support to the civil police to curb most of the insecurity issues introduced various exercises that dovetails into real-time operations aimed at ensuring that those who are hell-bent on making Nigeria unsafe are flushed out and handed over to the civil police for further prosecution.
We came up with various exercises from Harbin Kunama to Egoike, that is Python dance, and then Crocodile Smile, then I Am a Patuma that came up later. You can see the importance of those exercises, and we never knew that the insecurity will escalate, to other parts of the country, as they are now. Okay, in the north central, in the northwest, the issue in the south also, the oil theft, where we had to do with, we have to conduct a crocodile smile, So these are things that if you don't prepare, you know that you are in for serious trouble. And I think this popular adage that if you sweat during peacetime, you bleed less during war. And this is what is paying off for us, that we've been training since 2015, and we've been able to contend and contain, with the various security challenges.
The exercises were carefully selected and code-named according to the peculiarity of the zones in question, making it more indigenous to areas where the exercises will be taking place for better acceptability by the people, who are the major beneficiaries of these exercises. Among the exercises reeled out by the Nigerian army include exercise Python Dance, which later became exercise Egweke, and now Atilogwudo, meant to checkmate secessionist activities, kidnapping, and other criminal activities in the southeastern part of the country. Exercise Crocodile Smile was set up for the South and Southwest regions of Nigeria to solve perennial issues of pipeline vandalism, kidnapping, cultism, and other criminal activities plaguing the people.
Listen. Well, you're not there. At the time, what I see? At the time, what I see for my phone? Listen. Sorry.
Exercise Harbin Kunama was introduced in the Northwest to tackle the issue of banditry and cattle rustling that has led to the killing of hundreds of innocent Nigerians, and Exercise Ayemak Batuma to cater for the people of North Central, helping to checkmate the age-long security challenge of herders-farmers clashes, among others. This new initiative of the Chief of Army Staff, aimed at providing nationwide security coverage, is in addition to the Operation Lafia Dole in the Northeast, where the Nigerian Army, in partnership with other arms of the Nigerian Armed Forces and security agencies, are confronting terrorism and insurgency. What really is the nature of the exercises, and have they achieved the purpose?
Every person who really knows what security is all about, we appreciate that all those innovative exercises that also dovetail into operations in all the parts of this country have been, to a large extent, responsible for containing and reducing the effect of insecurity across Nigeria.
These exercises are usually given a time frame to handle specific issues as they arise. It covers various states and the region, making sure that criminals that are chased out from one state do not move into another to continue their nefarious activities. Let's take a quick look at Exercise Python Dance, which later became Exercise Egweke, now Atilogudu, designed for the southeast region of Nigeria to majorly nip in the bud the cessationist activities in that region. These groups of cessationists were all bent on breaking away from Nigeria to form their own country by force, disrupting economic and social activities in the region.
Let's go to Exercise Egweke, the popular Exercise Python Dance. Southeast, South-South. We knew what the proscribed IPO was, and we knew how that exercise tried to correct and arrest the situation professionally. Don't worry about whatever the interpretation anybody can give to it. The fact remains that Exercise Egweke 1, 2, 3, and the fourth that is in place now do achieve the goal it is set out to achieve.
The timely intervention by the Nigerian Army, ensuring that the killings of innocent citizens and destruction of personal and public properties were checkmated, many have said, have saved Nigeria the pain of having to go through a second civil war, an experience a lot of Nigerians would rather not speak about.
I know why the military is out there in the first place. Their place is the barracks, but they're out there because as an interventionist force, we are at a point where without the military it will be difficult for us to deal with the criminal elements in our environment.
Both the army, police, civil defense, and the NDLEA are doing very well. During the day, you probably will not see the army except in the major road checkpoints and where have you. But at night, they operate, they do stop and search, they match our critical road areas, and this has brought safety to the state.
We're grateful to the Chief of Army Staff, the GOC, the Garrison Commander, the officers and men for the peace we have in the Enugu. To God indeed be the glory. They've done so well. And we want to commend them. Enugu is peaceful. And that is why today I'm sure that you know that Enugu is peaceful. Enugu is secured. And we thank God.
Without mincing words, I want to say the Nigerian Army has contributed immensely towards restoring some level of sanity as regards security in this state. So right now, I must tell you, I can't say with all sense of pride that we're enjoying relative peace in the state, essentially because we have this mix, this admix of security agencies working together. Nigerian Army, for one, enjoys a high level of respect from the public. So most times when situations arise, you find out that once the military comes in, there is a change. The only issue we have is that we know that the rules of engagement of the military are a little bit, I don't want to say complex, but you can't just pull them out like that. We would want them out more often than we have them now. So perhaps one of the things we might want to see the Chief of Army Staff do is to create a process whereby we can get the military out on the streets at a much more faster rate than we are doing now. Because the criminals themselves, once they know the military is out there, they take to their heels. We have seen that in a lot of cases since we came on board. In the Ohaji Egbema Oguta axis of the state, where we have a lot of militants who still have weapons in their hands, we find out that the only group they fear is the military. So we want to appeal that the military will give us a greater support, much more than they are doing now, because we believe that with their presence, a lot more can be achieved in terms of security in this state.
Exercise Ayemak Patuma, which means cat race in the Tiv language of Benue State, Nigeria, was also launched in the north-central region of Nigeria to help solve the perennial farmers-herders clashes that has resulted in the killing of humans and animals and destruction of farm produce worth millions of naira. These clashes between the farmers and herders have greatly affected the economic activities of Nigerians living in that region. Farmers no longer go to farms for fear of being attacked, thereby leaving their farmlands unattended. Benue State, known as the food basket of Nigeria, a place which serves as one of the hubs for food cultivation and production in Nigeria, for a long time had been in the news for mostly issues bordering on insecurity, especially the farmers-herders clashes that had left many dead, communities deserted, properties worth millions of naira destroyed. The people of the state, however, came out to testify of how the intervention of the Nigerian army through exercise Ayemak Patuma had helped to bring back peace to most of the troubled communities in the state.
Throughout the time of insecurity, I was here and I knew exactly what happened until when the military steps in. In fact, as a matter of fact, it was terrible that people were first of all scared, very, very scared that even to go to the market to buy something, parents had to stop their children from going to school. Women going to the market, it was as if the men would go to the market. But as soon as the military steps in, everything subsides.
Everybody cannot even stay in Agatu to do their farm job. There is a hunger in the land during that time. But since the coming of Nigerian army and they brought peace, everybody are returned back to Agatu. The areas that people are running away, the villages they have run away, if you go to Agatu now, everywhere there's people living there and going about their farming now.
The Operation Ayemak Patuma one helped us a lot, but need more to be done because it started well as we embraced the security and everything was going on fine. But let's say we still need more. We still need more to do. So I believe the Operation Ayemak Patuma 2 will help us and will strengthen the one that was first initiated in Benue State.
So we have confidence in the Nigerian army. They have lived up to expectation. Let me appreciate the army chief particularly. he has exceeded the expectation of the Chief of Army Staff. Our expectations has totally been exceeded. The things we expected he was going to do, he has done more than what we expected. So I think only God Almighty that will reward him for what he has been doing across the country. Benue State was on national discourse, not in positive light, in the matter that has to do with insecurity. But today I can tell you, everybody, the people are in their farms. We are not hearing the crisis anymore. And it's only the army that have the capacity and the power to do that, which they are able to do. So I appreciate them so much.
I want to really commend the Nigerian Army for that exercise, because that exercise came very timely. It was at the point that our people were completely helpless, and it came and did its best. I must confess that, one thing with criminals is that the moment they see people in uniform, they are scared. So the launch of that first Ayema Kwatuma did its best, and it came at a time that we needed the federal government and the security agencies to show us that they can protect us. So they came and they did their best.
When the Operation Catch Race was launched, the results were very, very okay. They were very okay because the army came in not just seeking to attack whoever came to, cause trouble within the area. They came in looking to find peace for those who didn't have peace. That's the Fulani herdsmen and the indigents of the area. So what they did was to try and see how these people can actually live together, because they've been living together for a very long time. So there was every need that someone came in and will find a way for that peaceful coexistence.
In case of security, crime rate has reduced to the barest minimum. If you can go to Ajikpo, you can go to Jatuaka and some other big town cities in Ikwan local government, you know that there is a relative calm. So we commend the Nigerian Army for keeping to the promise, not only protecting Nigeria from the external aggression, but also the internal security challenges.
I have to appreciate His Excellency, the Commander-in-Chief of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, President Muhammadu Buhari, for sending the army quickly to come to Benue State to ensure that peace return to Benue State. Benue people are happy, we the youth precisely we are happy, and we are solely behind his government.
We have a lot of insecurity issues in Benue State before. Now, like I said, my local government was not exceptional. We used to have issues of herdsmen attacks, our communities, and push out of our villages. Before we heard that the federal government deployed the security in our state, the Operation White Stroke, Operation Ayema Kwatuma, all of this have helped us a lot. Now we can see people going back to their villages doing their own normal activities. Like in local government, in fact, all of the local governments in Benue State, most of the local government were affected by these issues. But now we can see that at least it's better, like before. Like the issue of herdsmen, which is the most common one in Benue State. Although we have other issues of insecurity as well, but this is the most common one. But now we can see that it's better as compared to the olden days.
In continuation of the support to civil authorities, exercise Safe Conduct was carried out by the Nigerian Army, specifically for the 2019 general elections. The formal kick-off of the various exercises by the Nigerian Army on the 1st of November 2019 is for Nigerians to heave euphoric sigh of relief as far as insecurity in most parts of the country is concerned.
We should look at the leadership of the Nigerian Army and the person of Lieutenant General Tuku Yusuf Buratai. I remember the last time I was made to speak or to avail myself for an interview like this, I shied away from mentioning anything about him. But whether I mention it or not, facts are sacred. With his style of leadership, you could see a leader, a commander of an army that is grounded 360 degrees. He's not only an expert in combat, not only an expert in tactical operations and strategic direction and thinking, is a man, a commander, a leader. If there's any English like that, with the largest heart, who does not only think of the military, but think of what the military, what the army should do to provide succor for the people for which the army exists. So all this has been manifesting in the way the army has been operating, both in combat, in relating with people, and in conducting their affairs. This is not to say the army is perfect, but leadership is key into what an organization is, the kind of perception people have about such an organization, and the output and input from such an organization.
The Nigerian Army, under the leadership of the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Tukur Yusuf Buratai, had announced the commencement of Exercise Harapin Kunama 2, Exercise Ayema Patuma 3, Exercise Crocodile Smile 3, and Exercise Atilogudo 1, meant to checkmate the various security challenges across Nigeria. From statistics available, the crime rate in most parts of the country, especially at the last quarter of the year, is usually on the increase. Many have opined that the exercises by the Nigerian Army could not have come at a better time.
It is crystal clear that the Nigerian Army, through exercise Egweke, now Atilogudo, and exercise Ayamak Patuma, has helped in solving insecurity in southeast and north central of Nigeria.